boy. Uh-oh, dropped your leash. Get it. Good dog. You're so good. Whoops. Can you get that, bud? Bring. Good boy. Good dog. Hi guys. Does that clip that you just saw seem like it would be helpful or even just fun? A retrieve is something that is a lot of fun to teach and can be a very helpful skill for your dog to have. It can help with anything from bringing you laundry that you dropped or fetching you a water bottle or even just playing the game fetch. Retrieve can be used for a lot of things and it's a great way to stimulate your dog's mind. There are several ways that you can go about teaching a retrieve. The method I'm going to go over first is called shaping. The idea behind shaping is that it's built off of your dog offering a behavior. So a retrieve is something that you don't really want to force. You want to have your dog offer it in order for it to become a more reliable behavior that you can use forever. So shaping is based off of asking for the minimalist thing that you can ask for in order to build the behavior from there. So to start a retrieve, first thing I'm going to use is this pen. This is the object that I'm going to start with Tucker. We'll go over what objects are good and which objects you should avoid later in this video. But first we're going to start with this pen to show you what it looks like. We're also going to use our clicker, and of course you're going to need some treats. So let me get Tucker and get all set up, and I'll be right back. So for the first step for retrieve, I'm literally going to accept anything. Him looking at the pen, sniffing the pen, whatever. Just any interest in the pen. Yes. See, he moved his face towards it. He got a click and a treat. Yes. Keep in mind, Tucker does already know a retrieve behavior, so this is going to look and move a lot faster than your dogs will at first. It is okay if this first step takes a whole day or even a couple of days. Don't get discouraged. Yes. I'm just using his kibble for a treat. We're in a very low distraction environment, so he doesn't need anything super high value for this. Yes, good boy. So at the tail end of that last clip, you saw that Tucker has now progressed from just sniffing the pen to nose bumping the pen, and that is our next criteria. So shaping moves up criteria as your dog gets better at it. No, sit, come. Good, sit. So instead of just waiting for him to sniff the pen now, we're going to ask for him to touch his nose to it completely. If he doesn't, we're going to wait him out. Yes, so his nose touched it, I clicked, and I give him a treat. It's important to remember that you're not going to take the pen to your dog. You're waiting for your dog to come to the pen. Yes. And you don't want to bump your dog's nose with it. You want them to do the work. Yes. Very good. So that last behavior that Tucker did there, if it had been a dog that did not know a retrieve, I would have given it a jackpot and given him about 3 to 4 treats for that. Because instead of just bumping it, he tried to take it in his mouth. And that is the end reward that we want. So now that he's done that, we're actually not going to move on to it because it was a one-step fluke. If he starts doing that consistently, that will become our new criteria. Yes. See, he went back to just bumping it with his nose. So we're going to go back to that, and that's totally fine. A one-off fluke does not mean that your dog is necessarily ready to move on to the next step. Yes, good boy. See, he took it in his mouth. So we're going to give a jackpot. Good boy. Yes, okay. I would consider that Tucker being ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so now that Tucker is ready to move on to his next step, we're going to not accept anything except for putting his mouth on the object. Not going to ask for any duration, just put it in your mouth. Ready? Yes. Even if he pulls right back off of it, as long as it gets in his mouth, that's all I want. Yes, good boy. Oh, I dropped one. Get that one. Good boy, sit. Come on. So I'm going to wait him out. Yes. He's offering behaviors. This is what shaping is all about. So he wondered if I wanted him to hit it with his paw. That's not what I wanted, so I didn't give him anything. I didn't tell him no. I just sat and waited in the same position for him to offer me the behavior that I wanted. Yes, good boy. Yes. Just so you all aware, this is Tucker's dinner that he's getting. If you're using kibble or even just a lot of treats for training, I would take it out of their daily amount that they usually get in order for them to not gain weight from a ton of extra treats. Okay, so now that Tucker is putting it into his mouth, we're gonna ask for a little bit more of a duration or for him to put it further back in his mouth. Because when we ask for a retrieve, I want it here instead of at the front, because at the front he can spit it out. So we're gonna wait for that. Yes, so he put it further back in his mouth. He got a click. Use a pen that you don't mind getting a little gunky. Yes, good boy. Yes. Notice I am not giving him any commands. I'm not asking him to take it or get it. I am not asking him to hold. I'm literally just waiting for him to offer a behavior. Good boy, sit. Good. Okay, now that he has it down to where he can put it all the way in his mouth without trying to spit it out right away, we're gonna wait and let go of it for a split second. Come here. Come. Sit. Yes. So I used the click as a bridge there, mostly out of habit. You do not have to do that. So what you're going to do in real life is you're going to, and then click after he's held it for a second. Notice I am only asking him to hold it for a split second. If you ask for too much at once, he's going to fail repeatedly and then get frustrated and not want to do this anymore. We want to set our dogs up for success by only asking for a little bit at a time. Sit. He's trying to offer me a down because he thinks that's what I want. Sit. Come. Good. Sit. Come. Yes. Good boy. Yes. And as soon as I click, I take the pen out of his mouth to tell him that that was the right thing. Little low pup. Oh, that was my fault. I clicked prematurely. Good boy. Good boy. Nice dog. Okay, so the next step that I'm going to introduce is a little bit longer, and I'm going to ask him to bring it to me once it's in his mouth. Dogs are a lot more likely to keep the thing that's in their mouth if they're moving. It's a lot harder for a dog to have to sit still and think about holding something than it is to hand them it and ask them to move towards you. So, this one's a little bit more interactive. You're going to give it to him? Yes, come. Good boy. And all he did was stood up, and that brought his head closer to me, so that's all I'm asking for. Sit. Yes. Oh, he didn't have a good hold on it, so I went ahead and took it, but I didn't click or give him a treat. Yes, come. Good boy. I didn't have good enough hold. He had too good of a hold. Sit. Come. Yes. This way he gets enough practice delivering it directly to me. Sit. Now this may look like I'm doing it backwards. Ideally, when someone thinks of a retrieve, they think of going out and getting something and bringing it back. The idea of shaping is we're going to start from the end behavior that we want and build backwards. He's really excited about this now. Back. Good. Come. Good. So now what I'm going to do, as you can see, you're a little bit lower, sit, is I'm going to start moving the pen lower so he has to essentially pick it up to bring it to me. Instead of having it at his level, he's going to have to bend his head a little bit to get it. Remember, this is after he can take it from you and bring it towards you in one step. Sit. So I'm going to bring it a little lower. Yes, come. Good boy. Waiting for his treat. Back. Sit. Still lower. Yes, come. Yes, good boy. Back. Bring. Good. Back. So he was a little hesitant on that one, so I went ahead and inserted my verbal bring. You will not have a verbal bring yet. Once he has this behavior down solidly, then we're going to go ahead and add the bring. But we want to get the behavior down first so they understand what it means before we add the word. Sit. Bring. Give. Good dog. Sit. At this point, you can start adding the word give when you take it. Give just means give it to me. It's different than drop, because drop means whatever's in your mouth right now, drop it on the ground, and that can be a more long distance behavior. Give means I want you to bring it to me and put it in my hand. We're gonna go a little lower. Yes. Give. Good boy. And how you'll add it is you'll just say it as you take the thing away. Back. Good boy. Yes. Give. Good boy. So you're going to take that behavior lower and lower until the pen is actually on the floor. And once it is on the floor, he's down now, you're going to have to go back a couple steps for them to understand that you want them to pick it up off of the floor. So you're going to go back to rewarding touching it, sniffing it, whatever, and it should build up a little bit faster for them to understand that it's the same game you were playing before. You just have to build back up to them picking it up. So let's show you what that looks like. Hold on. Put her on the floor. Yes, good boy. Now him, I have to be quick with my clicks because he already knows the behavior. Yes, good boy. Yes, good boy. Now see, he wasn't doing anything, so I waited until he decided that it was a good idea to go back towards the pen. Good boy. So you see he is deliberately moving to touch his nose to the pen. So the next step, I'm going to wait for him to open his mouth and try and pick it up. Okay. Yes, good boy. See, he moved to pick it up. Again, I'm trying to catch him before he does it perfectly because he already knows this behavior. This is what your dog is going to look like. They're going to be licking it, possibly opening their mouth and picking it up. If they do manage to pick it up, jackpot it, but don't move on steps yet. Okay. Yes. Good boy. So you see he picked it up, so you're going to jackpot it. Good boy. If they start to chew on it or make it a game where they're grabbing it and running, good boy. You're going to take it away and start again later because that means they're starting to get frustrated with the training session. Okay. Good boy. Once they are starting to understand that you want them to pick it up, you can ask for a little more in the same fashion as we were before. So he is laying down right now. Eventually, that will translate. Here is where you can also start adding your verbal word to pick up an object. Some people use take it, as in take it off the ground. I use get it, as in get that thing. You can use whatever you want, just keep it short and simple. So you're going to add that in as they're picking it off the ground. I'm going to wait him out. Get it? Yes. So I asked for him to hold it just a little bit longer after he picked it up. Good boy. Get it. Good boy. I knocked it out of his mouth. That was my fault. That's why he's not getting corrected. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. So that's the next step. Like I said, Tuck already knows this, so there's no way I can stop him from doing it at this point. You're going to, as soon as it's in his mouth, you can pat yourself, call him, whatever, in order to get them to bring the object towards you, and then you can go back to using that give. Give. Yes, good boy. Back. Good. Okay. Wrong. So that's one of Tucker's corrections. I used the word wrong to let him know that that was not correct. And then we're going to try again. Yes, good, give, good boy. I am not actually going to show the next step because it's a little bit harder to show on camera without like a tripod and everything. So the next step, come here, is you're going to move yourself higher. So typically you will have been on the floor or at eye level with them at this point, but that's not how retrieve fully works. You're not always going to be standing, hi buddy, down. You're not always going to be standing right in front of your dog or sitting right in front of your dog when you need them to retrieve an object. So you're going to move from maybe sitting all the way down to sitting on your knees while you use this behavior, to crouching, and slowly move all the way up to standing so they can deliver it to your hand no matter where you are. You can choose to have them target your hand specifically, wherever your hand is, Or you can always take it from them at a specific place. So say you always want them to deliver an object to your right side, only take it from them at your right side. Or at your belly button, only take it from them at your belly button and only accept the behavior when they deliver to your belly button. That's something you add later after they have the motions down. Now that they have all of the specific motions down, you can add in the whole string together. So you point at an object, tell them get it, or whatever word you chose to use. And then when they bring it to you, you can use the word bring, add in that extra word as they're moving towards you. That's just kind of a safeguard. It should already be in there as an automatic, they'll bring it to you. But if your dog does tend to get distracted, it's okay to add that extra bring in there and then give once they get to you and you have your hand on it. After they are doing that consistently with the first object you decided to use, you can switch it up. You can use objects that are different textures but are the same shape as your first object, or you can use the same size but a different shape. You only want to think about changing 1 to 2 criteria of the shape at one time, or of the object at one time. Hi, Bubba, I know. If you change too much, it could be a little bit confusing for your dog and they could not understand that you want that behavior. So you're gonna have to go back to step 1 of click and treating interest in the behavior down. Good boy. He wants love right now. He did a good job, huh? So say from the pen, I'm gonna do a pencil. So instead of plastic, it's wood. And believe it or not, wood is very difficult because dogs really like to chew it. And we don't want chewing on our retrieve articles, because what if it's something dangerous? What if they were retrieving a pill bottle and they chew it and they crack it? That's not safe. So we don't want chewing on the articles. If they do start chewing on it, we're not gonna accept it. Eventually we're gonna move to all different kinds of things. Maybe a fork, so it's metal, or I would probably use a spoon first so nobody gets stabbed. Or a metal piece of pipe that's thin, or piece of PVC pipe, anything like that. Pieces of PVC pipe are actually really good articles to start with instead of a pen. They're a good shape for the dog to fit in their mouth. So they're a really good thing to start with. And as you move to more difficult objects, keep in mind that you might have to go back a couple of steps in the chain. Again, if you up one criteria, you have to lower another, especially if it's an object that has a lot of things hanging off of it. If it is, say, your keys, that's really scary. Or if it's, say, a credit card on a hard surface, that's really hard to pick up, so it takes some practice, and that's okay. Take it slow, and do not get discouraged if what looks like took 2 seconds for Tucker takes 4 days for your dog. Trust me, he did not get this overnight. Now I'm going to give you a little demonstration of what a finished retrieve looks like on my dog who is finished with several different items. Don't be thrown off by me calling it different things than get it. He is actually trained to know specific items. So, yeah, if you hear me say meds or leash or wallet, he knows those objects. But in your case, it would be get it before, or your command, before you start adding names to things. So here we go. Okay, so I have 4 different articles on the ground. I have my wallet, I have keys, I have a bottle of Advil, and I have his leash. So here we go. Get it. Good boy. Get it. Good boy. Get it. Good boy. Leash. Good boy. Now, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull out a credit card because that is a really hard article. I want you to see the possibility for this. Pull out a credit card. Drop it on the floor. Get it. Good boy. And he brings me a credit card. Good dog, huh? Good boy. Are you so good? You're so good. Yes. Yes. All right, so that is how we teach a shaped retrieve. This video is going to be super long, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it with just a shaped retrieve. We might come back and show you another couple options later, but that is the option that I would recommend starting with for every dog. It gives them a lot of freedom to choose how to do the behavior, and then it keeps you guys working as a team a little bit better. Hi, Bub. Sit. Good man. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of how to teach a retrieve.